in here. I remember when I was younger, my dad used to say, as I was running out the door to play, "Don't forget your McGuiggan." And when I was younger, I thought it was silly. Of course I'm not going to forget, that's my name. But he meant something by it. He said that name means something, and you put your name into, okay? That name means something. You represent the McGuiggan family. So when I went out and caused some trouble or smashed somebody's window or something, it's like, oh, the McGuiggan boy did that. And then it's the same as Christians. We remember, we represent Christ in the world. So what do we need to do? Watch how we're living.
Yes, that's right.
For we represent Christ in the world. Don't forget you're a Christian as you're walking out the door. We represent Him, right? In biblical times, people's names were pretty important. The name represented the whole person. You could say the name was the person. Emmanuel. God with us. Therefore, a change in a person's character or destiny or status could mean his name was changed or her name was changed. For example, Abram to Abraham, Jacob to Simon to John to... It was just a John. I was just making sure you were listening and following me. You're doing very well. So, if human names are important, there's the change of name. You know, from Jacob to Israel, you're not going to be this person anymore. This is who you are. If human names are important, what do you think about God's names? They must be very important, right? God's person, His presence, His character, all reveal who He is. And here we are, talking about Yahweh. And before I go any further, I'm going to say this anyway. I don't need to say it, but I'm going to. There's no way that I can fully explain one name of God, Yahweh, in one session. You know that, right? And whatever I try and say about Yahweh in this session, it doesn't mean, well, everything's been said about Yahweh that can be said. You know that, right?
Yes. Amen.
Please say yes. Okay? All right. Exodus chapter 3, verse 11. I'm going to read the NIV version. Exodus chapter 3, verse 11. Come to a Bible class without your Bibles? Do a Bible check at my church and everybody holds up their iPhones and their iPads. Remember the days when people brought a real Bible to church? And you don't know if they're texting or taking notes. That's irritating, isn't it? Exodus chapter 3, verse 11. But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And God said, "I'll be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who will send you. When you brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Moses said to God, "Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What's His name?' Then what shall I tell them?" God said to Moses, well, you know this, right? "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites, 'I am has sent you.'" God also said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, 'The Lord, the God of your fathers,'" the God of Abraham, this is important, "the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am remembered from generation to generation." So God reveals His name, Yahweh, to Moses and says, "I am who I am," or "I will be who I will be." We can understand the English words, right? Right? "I am who I am," or "I will be who I will be." But what does that mean? "I am who I am," or "I will be what I will be." I believe it means that God is going to be who He wants to be. I believe it means that you can't nail God down. You can't say, "This is God and that's God." For example,